Here is how I got abused by a doctor. Yeah. So, as funny as it sounds, right? If you are a woman trying to conceive or you're going through PCOS and you have never been abused by a doctor, you don't know what God has done for you. So, here is what happened. Back then when I was in school, I went to FUT Mina, Federal University of Technology Mina. I was in school back then. So, you know, like I always say, I have always had PCOS, but I never got diagnosed of PCOS. Do you understand? But I have always had it, but I was never diagnosed of PCOS. Most of the time when I go to the hospital, they'll be like, you have PID, you have this one, you have that one. That's why I'm always creating awareness for women who have PCOS but are misdiagnosed. Because PCOS have only been recently been diagnosed like as PCOS for some people. But some people were lucky enough to meet a gynecologist that actually understands PCOS. So here is what happened. I went to the school clinic. Okay, my period would always go south. Like my period would go and not come for months back then. So sometimes I'll be worried. I'll be like, why is my own different? My roommates are having their period. You know, I'll be like, why is my own different? So I spoke to my roommate and she was like, oh, that I should go to the school clinic and complain to the doctor. So I went to the school clinic and complained to the doctor. I told him everything I was feeling. There were times back then when I'll feel like, oh, I'm pregnant. I'll feel pregnant. I'll feel like every single pregnancy symptom that people feel. I would always feel it back then. So, and I went to the hospital, to the school clinic. And I explained to the doctor everything that was going on with me. And he said, oh, that your school insurance does not cover this. So I'm going to refer you to a doctor you're going to go and see outside school, like a hospital. So he wrote this reference letter, wrote what the test they were going to do for me, wrote everything. And I went to the hospital. They said, oh, the doctor was not around. I had to wait. The doctor came. So it was my turn to see him and I went in. I told him, oh, that I'm coming from school and I was given this letter to come to you. And I showed him the letter and he started talking plenty story of how the person is his friend and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm here for the what. He asked me what's going on. I explained to him that, oh, this is what is going on with me. My whole body, I don't understand. I don't get my period right from time. Since I started my period, I had never gotten a regular period and all that. So he was like, oh, that's okay. They will run a scan for me and do some other checkups and all that. I'm like, okay, I'm open to it. So he did the scan and he was like, oh, you have PID, pelvic inflammatory disease. I'm like, I have PID, how? So he gave me some drugs that I should go and take and all that. So he just talked to me about PID and all that. So he gave me drugs. Then later, he was like, come. Lie down on this bed. You know, they always have this bed in their office where they check you. I should lie down on the bed. I should lie down and spread my legs. That he wants to check something. He told the nurse that they should bring him gloves. That was how this man put his hand in my pum-pum and was doing like this. Me, I did not, do you know that funny enough? I did not understand what was going on because I felt like, okay, maybe he was trying to check my cervix or he was trying to check something. He was just doing like this. Me, I was feeling very uncomfortable, very, very uncomfortable. When he was now asking me, are you feeling anything? Are you feeling what I am? Are you feeling this thing that I'm touching? I'm like, I asked him, I said, is this supposed to be how the test is supposed to be? But you know, I just couldn't say anything further because it was like, that he was trying to check the strength of my cervix, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward to 4 to 5 years later. And I went to another hospital. This was where I was now properly diagnosed of PCOS. I went to another hospital and I explained everything to him. I even told him my encounter with the doctor and how everything went. And he was like, why would the doctor be doing that to me? And I'm like, he told me that he was trying to check the strength of my cervix. And he was like, what doctor is that? He was now the one that told me point blank that guy was abusing you. I felt like Jesus. And you know the inferiority complex and depression that comes with PCOS already. I just felt, oh my God. So this guy was doing this to me because I was in that state, or because these things were happening to me. He was doing all that to me. I felt so bad. I felt like it was this thing, this story I am telling. I'm able to tell this story for the first time because I feel like, okay, telling it would actually make me like feel better about it. Do you understand? And I know that there are so many women who have actually gone through this in the hands of doctors. It's really sad. It's really sad, honestly. I know that that doctor cannot be the only doctor who does this, right? And trust me, it's really, it messed up my mind. It messed up my whole emotions, my mind. I couldn't like wrap my head around the reason why I was put in that position, like in that situation, that this kind of thing would happen to me, right? And I'm wondering, is there anyone who has experienced this? Has anyone experienced any kind of, maybe not abuse, but any kind of awkward situation in the hands of a doctor? Is there anyone else who has gone through this? Please, I would like to know.
Do you know that because of stories like this, you see in some religions, they don't allow like a male doctor or a male nurse to attend to their women because something like this are common. And I tell you, many of us can relate to this. Like I have even witnessed one myself. So these are very pathetic. There's something we need to understand. Not all are called to this profession, and sometimes not everybody can control their humanly nature. But for me, I condemn such acts. I believe many of us can relate to this because something like this are quite common, just that many of us may not be able to identify when we are being abused. I'm glad this woman came out to explain her own ordeal. It's quite a pity.